I've never seen someone ice rosé, but...
You never seen someone ice rosé? I'll talk to every jeweler in Miami that has fake diamonds.
Really, they do that?
Nobody got that joke.
Listen, the closest you can ever get to feeling like you in this water with me right this very second is when you press play. Track number 1, set in stone, July 17th. So if you got my very first album, this will be my 12th. And this is what you call luxury rap, and this is the closest you will ever get to swimming in this water with the boss, baby.
Rick Ross was once a name that instantly made people think about success, big money, luxury, and business moves.
Glory though, morning glory. What it is, Monday morning? Yeah. What we doing today? How we turning up? What new money we talking about?
Ross, a quick Google search says that your net worth is $150 million. Is that accurate?
That's said it, duh.
That's my car. That's my car. Don't worry, you're gonna get that car someday, Ricky. Bones.
9 figures. How'd you get there?
It's called hustling nonstop. I have 25 ventures and partnerships. Just got back from Dubai. I'm going to Canada Friday. Tonight we in the club out here in the strip club. We performing. Itself will cover all my expenses for the year. It's just that consistent nonstop.
For years, he built the image of someone who always looked larger than life. And fans saw him as one of the biggest bosses in hip-hop.
I came in through slip and slide. I had to build this myself.
You call it the Promised Land?
It's the Promised
Land.
300 acres, 60,000 square feet.
It's a projects. It's bigger than the projects.
Oh, it's
street projects. Enormous. And a couple of football fields.
That's a town. It's a town.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it. I'm sorry, it's a hood analyzation, but that's how I'm thinking.
It's beyond motivating.
Yes. Oh, man. Do we make some noise for that?
Hell yeah.
Do we make some noise for that?
But by 2026, that reputation had taken a major hit. Were you a correctional officer at one point? I was. Yeah.
It looks like Rick Ross is going broke, okay? And he's now in damage control trying to clean things up, but it's too late. We've already seen how the boss is really getting down.
It's an AP that I'm rocking. This is green stones, green emeralds. It's just me having fun. That's all it is.
I am fuming. That's a fake watch. That's not a real watch.
How can you tell?
That watch was only produced twice, one in 37mm, one in 41mm. And I know both owners, and they're not Rick Ross.
Rick Ross flew commercial this week.
Oh, man. Poor guy.
We ain't hired like Rick Ross in the airport neither. It's all good. Heading back to New York. Let's go next.
It didn't seem to me like he was hiding because he was taking a commercial flight. Rick Ross looked so depressed to be flying with y'all junkies.
Uncle Murder, you ain't never killed nothing. But what I want to do is give you and all your kids a free cleaner. Free teeth cleaning. I know what 50 going through right now. He may not be in the mood for this, Daphne Joy.
That put a wet towel over his head.
For the ones want to know where my jet at, I obviously didn't get the memo. It's being updated with Starlink. And I chose to fly commercial to Colombia to go party with Trick Daddy. When Ricky Rose takes flights to 6 digits. I'm going to get some money.
The shift was impossible to ignore, and plenty of people began asking how someone who once stood at the top could become one of the most joked about figures in the rap world. Interview 3:55-421. So, what really happened? How did an artist who looked untouchable slowly lose that powerful image? Why did public opinion change so much over the years? And why has so much attention been focused on his ongoing back and forth with other rappers instead of his music?
Ross has just always been one of my favorite rappers ever.
You're not putting Drake at your level.
No, see, you might be, I could see it in your eyes, you might be confused. If Drake was what he thought, he would have been able to clear all this shit up, address it, and been moved on. I listened to some of it. My engineer was horrendous. They lost an hour of their life for this shit.
Listen to it.
Yeah.
Are they recovering?
Yeah, trauma.
It's tough.
It is. Look, I want to do ASMR music minus great vocals. So no great vocals.
What made you decide to tell the DJ not to play Drake's vocals on Aston Martin music?
Let's enjoy it without him. If they want it, let them sing it, and that's cool too. But yeah, my DJ minus that. Let's go. Damn, white boy. Kendrick done bust you in the head before y'all even finish the publishing splits.
He shouldn't have been there. That's it. The security tell me he shouldn't have been there. Yeah. Nothing about what was on that video said Rick Ross should have been here doing this right now.
Rose, the history with you and 50, is it better now? You guys now friends? Like, you guys talk now, or is it still no relationship?
Nah, homie Wash. We've never been cool.
From day one?
No.
This is a big business you guys are a part of. You guys are two of the heavyweights in the business.
I mean, what is there to talk about?
A lot of things to talk about. History, beef.
What kind of history? That he couldn't dress? That's all I used to tell him. Yo, you can't dress. You're not really getting no money. You don't own your masters. Eminem saved you. Dr. Dre saved you. All the big names. Rose did it himself. I came in through slip and slide. I had to build this myself. And I'm not speaking down on him because he live in a 2-bedroom apartment, but
he lives in a 2-bedroom apartment?
2-bedroom. Catch the alley hoop now. You gotta win by Yama this bitch.
2-bedroom apartment.
Yes, he does. And if he does, bro, what does that say about him? Come on now. Just the alley hoop. Come on now. What does it say about him?
You're saying 50 lives in a 2. He just did a big documentary on Diddy that blew up. It was a #1 documentary for like weeks.
R.I.P. to the Drake stands. Can only imagine what that feels like. Well, I really couldn't. But, damn, niggas say 3 albums are trash albums, 2 years too late. Hey, man, it was fun while it lasted. You're washed. Where's Iceman? There's Iceman. The Throat Goats. Miami, where you at? Let us know. Set in stone. The countdown is official. We in the streets. Everybody hit me up. Salute to all the DJs, all the PDs, everybody posting our artwork. 305. Let's do what we do. Florida game, South. Rap game, luxury rap. Greatest, the biggest. It's the mother boat, you heard me? Just finished shooting a video with Soldier Living True. Carrot City Road with 305. You know that 305. Look, what we heading to right now is in Wynwood, where they doing the Set in Stone mural.
To understand the full picture, we have to go all the way back to where his journey first began and follow every major turning point that shaped his career.
Let me ask you a question. Did you know Rick while he was working in law enforcement?
He was a correction officer.
So we're clear he was a correctional officer.
Yes, he was.
Recently accused you of working as a prison guard at one point, Rick. Is there any truth to that?
No, that's not true. But that's disappointing to hear that he said that. He said that?
By the way, too, you worked, I don't know if you want to talk about it all, because were you a correctional officer at one point?
I was, yeah.
So going all the way back. When was that? How long ago?
Maybe when I was 20.
20 years old.
Yeah. You know, I didn't really get to make it to the prison because you got to go through training and all that, and I didn't last long. I may have lasted 4 months before they said I was a little tardy.
William Leonard Roberts, too, was born on January 28, 1976 in Clarksdale, Mississippi before moving to Carroll City, Florida as a child. Growing up around the Miami area, he experienced 2 completely different worlds sitting right next to each other. Some neighborhoods struggled with poverty and neglect, while others showed off incredible wealth and expensive lifestyles. Seeing that contrast gave him even more motivation to chase a better future. During high school, he stood out as a talented football player and even earned a scholarship to Alb State University in Georgia. Still, that path didn't last long and he eventually left school to focus on music instead. Interview 9:32-10-24. Early in his career, he performed under the name Teflon Dayton alongside his crew, Carroll City Cartel, before later adopting the name Rick Ross after becoming inspired by the story of Freeway Rick Ross. That new identity helped shape the larger-than-life image that fans would soon recognize everywhere. In 2006, everything changed when he released the breakout hit Hustling. A song that immediately grabbed attention with its unforgettable hook, booming voice, and confident style. The momentum only grew stronger when he followed it with his debut album, Port of Miami, which delivered impressive sales and proved he was much more than a one-hit wonder. At that moment, it looked like Rick Ross had arrived and his climb toward rap superstardom was only getting started. Interview 11:09-12-26. Port of Miami exploded onto the charts, debuting at #1 and selling around 187,000 copies in its first week. That huge launch catalog packed with major releases. Albums like Teflon Dawn in 2010, God Forgives, I Don't in 2012, and Mastermind in 2014 helped strengthen his position in hip-hop and kept his name near the top of the conversation. At the same time, he expanded far beyond music by creating Maybach Music Group, better known as MMG. The label quickly became a powerhouse, bringing together artists like Meek Mill, French Montana, Whale, and Omarion, giving Ross even more influence across the industry. Interview, 13:1913-34. Outside of rap, he kept adding new business ventures to his growing portfolio. His investment stretched into real estate with several luxury properties, including a massive 109-room estate sitting on roughly 235 acres in Georgia. He also teamed up with beverage companies such as Luke Belaire and Bumbu Rum. Invested in the healthcare company Jet, released multiple books, and built an impressive collection of franchise businesses, including Checkers, Rallies, and more than 25 Wingstop restaurants across the southeastern United States. That's an incredible amount of businesses to keep running at once. Looking at all those accomplishments, it's easy to understand why so many people viewed Rick Ross as the definition of success. Music, business, investments, and branding all seemed to be working in his favor. But behind that polished image, small cracks had already started to show, and over time, those cracks became much harder to ignore. Several controversies followed him throughout the early years of his career. None of them completely stopped his rise, but they raised questions and gave critics plenty to talk about. One of the biggest debates centered on the name Rick Ross itself. As mentioned earlier, the name came from former drug kingpin turned entrepreneur Freeway Rick Ross. However, many people argued it wasn't simply inspiration. Interview, 14:49-1507. They believed the identity had been adopted without permission. According to public reports, when William Roberts began using the stage name, Freeway Rick Ross was still serving a prison sentence after receiving life imprisonment in 1996. During his time behind bars, Freeway studied the legal system, challenged parts of his case, and eventually succeeded in getting his sentence reduced to 20 years. Once he returned to public life, the dispute over the famous name would become one of the earliest controversies attached to Rick Ross' growing career, adding another layer to the public conversation surrounding his rise. After earning additional time off for good behavior, Freeway Rick Ross was released from prison in 2009. Once he was back in public life, he finally had the opportunity to challenge the use of his name. On June 18, 2010, he filed a $10 million lawsuit in a California federal court claiming that the stage name Rick Ross infringed on his rights. The legal battle stretched on for 4 years and attracted plenty of attention from both the music world and the media. In 2014, the court ultimately ruled in favor of the rapper Rick Ross, pointing to First Amendment protections related to artistic expression. Even though the lawsuit ended with a legal victory, many people felt it wasn't a complete win when it came to public perception. Critics continued questioning whether he had built his image around someone else's identity, and that conversation followed him for years. Then another controversy surfaced that proved even more difficult to shake off. It became known as the Officer Ricky situation, and many fans still see it as one of the biggest blows to his reputation. Reports revealed that from 1995 to 1997, before reaching rap stardom, Ross had worked as a corrections officer at the South Florida Reception Center in Dade County. Let me ask you a question. Do you know Rick while he was, working in law enforcement? He was a correction officer. So, prison guard at one point, Drake. Is there any truth to that? No, that's not true. But that's disappointing to hear that he said that. He said that, suggesting it had been manipulated. Soon afterward, however, the publication The Smoking Gun released employment records that they reported matched his identity, including hiring information, salary records, and resignation dates. At that point, the story spread everywhere, and the debate became impossible to avoid. To be fair, it's not difficult to understand why he initially pushed back against the claims. During that era of hip-hop, having a background in law enforcement could seriously affect an artist's credibility, especially if their public image was built around portraying a completely different lifestyle. Even so, the records kept the story alive, and Ross eventually acknowledged that he had worked as a corrections officer earlier in his life. The admission triggered heavy criticism across the industry, with rivals and commentators using the revelation to question his authenticity. One of the loudest voices was 50 Cent, who turned the controversy into a major talking point through the diss track Officer Ricky. Interview, 18:43-1905. Keeping the story in the spotlight for years. The nickname stuck. And despite everything Ross accomplished afterward, many people continued bringing the incident up whenever his credibility was discussed. Interview, 19:15-2032. So it's not a surprise that they try to do that to continue the relevance. I'm looking going good luck because you're trying to sell a CD at the present moment and I'm not trying to sell music. Even years later, the topic resurfaced during interviews, including a conversation with Full Sin, where Ross acknowledged working as a corrections officer, but said it lasted only about 4 months. Whether people accept interview 20:52-22-52. Many critics argue that the employment records available publicly tell a different story than Rick Ross' later explanation, and that disagreement has kept the conversation alive for years. Instead of fading away, the controversy continued because people felt his responses never fully settled the issue. Interview 23:10-23-45. A common opinion among commentators is that if Ross had simply acknowledged his past from the beginning and moved forward, the story might not have followed him for so long. Instead, every new interview seemed to bring the topic back into the spotlight, leading more fans and rivals to question his credibility. That is why the issue resurfaced during his 2022 feud with Gilly the Kid, who publicly referenced the corrections officer controversy. Then in 2024, Drake brought it up again on the diss track Push-Ups with the line, "I might take your latest girl and cuff her like I'm Ricky." The lyric quickly spread across social media, with listeners connecting it to Ross' past and adding another layer to their ongoing rivalry. Interview 24:25-25:48. Around the same period, another earlier controversy also remained part of the conversation. His guest verse on Rocco's UNO drew widespread criticism because of one particular lyric that many listeners found offensive. The backlash was immediate. Advocacy groups publicly objected to the lyrics, and Reebok ended its partnership with Ross shortly afterward. While the fallout eventually cooled down and his music career continued moving forward, it remained another notable mark on his public record that people still reference from time to time. Even with those setbacks, Rick Ross managed to keep building his empire for years. He continued releasing successful music, expanding his business ventures, working with major brands, and maintaining a strong presence in when his relationship with Drake completely unraveled. The two artists had spent years collaborating on major records and were widely viewed as allies in the rap industry. Their friendship did face a brief test back in 2015 during Drake's highly publicized conflict with Meek Mill, one of MMG's biggest stars, but they eventually moved past that disagreement and continued working together. That peace didn't last forever. Interview 27:08-27:44. In 2024, tensions grew after Drake's falling out with Future and Metro Boomin. Ross publicly sided with Future and Metro, a move that many observers interpreted as choosing the opposite side of the dispute. Drake appeared to respond by mentioning Ross alongside several others on Push-Ups, turning what had been a private split into a very public rap battle. "You're not putting Drake at your level." Interview 28:05-28:28. Ross answered almost immediately with Champagne Moments, a track packed with direct insults and personal jabs aimed at Drake. Rather than focusing only on lyrical competition, the record leaned heavily into mocking and criticizing his former collaborator, making it clear that the friendship had completely broken down. From that point forward, the relationship between the two artists appeared beyond repair, and their rivalry became one of the biggest talking points in hip-hop throughout the year. After the dust settled from the massive rap battles of 2024, many fans felt Drake had taken the biggest hit, especially after his clash with Kendrick Lamar. Because Rick Ross had aligned himself with Future and Metro Boomin during that period, some people viewed him as being on the side that came out ahead. Even with that perception, Ross continued taking public shots at Drake long after many listeners thought the feud had run its course. "And that old-ass jet you got, they gave it to you free. Y'all need to pray for Drake and tell him, park that old-ass plane. It's a 1978. The cargo jet people gave it to him free for promo. And I ain't hating, but be safe. If something was to happen to you and I couldn't tell you this, be safe. And anybody getting on it, be safe, man. Wear your seatbelts and make sure the oxygen thing's in there, cause that was just for luggage. So, thank everybody for all the prayers. But I'm going to tell you, we on the jet and I'm seeing the fighter jet. I see his nose. It's like Tom Cruise from, Top Gun. I seen his nose. I'm seeing him in the cockpit and I'm like, damn. I see his cheeks and nose going back from the G-force. I'm like, damn. And then, hey, man, it happened. You know what I'm saying? I can't say what happened, but it happened. Come on, white boy. But we safe, everybody. Every new opportunity seemed to bring another comment, another interview, or another social media clip aimed in Drake's direction. When Drake appeared to reference Ross on the song Make Them Pay from the Iceman Project, Ross didn't let it slide. Instead of brushing it off, he responded publicly by sharing negative reactions to Drake's release and reading critical comments on camera. Not long afterward, he spoke about Drake again during an interview with entrepreneur Patrick Bet David, where he criticized the project, questioned Drake's musical direction, and mocked parts of his style. The comments didn't stop there. During another appearance, this time on a podcast with Fat Joe and Jadakiss, the subject came up once again. Fat Joe admitted he didn't fully understand why the tension between the two artists was still going. Defending yourself after being mentioned in a song is one thing, conversation, keeping the feud alive weeks after many people believed it should have ended. That ongoing criticism changed how a lot of fans viewed Ross' public image. Rather than looking confident and unbothered, some online commentators started describing his behavior as overly focused on an old rivalry instead of new accomplishments. Across social media and reaction channels, viewers questioned why someone with such a successful career appeared to spend so much time responding to another artist. Comments ranged from jokes to harsh criticism, with some saying that wealth doesn't automatically earn respect, while others argued that staying in conflict for so long didn't match the larger-than-life boss image Ross had spent years building. Whether those opinions are fair or not, they became an increasingly common part of the conversation. The bigger question people began asking was simple. Why keep revisiting the same feud when there seemed to be little left to prove? That curiosity only grew stronger as other stories about Ross started making headlines. Behind the luxury cars, expensive jewelry, giant estates, and carefully crafted image. New reports and fresh controversies began giving critics even more reasons to question whether everything was as solid as it appeared. For years, Ross had presented himself as the ultimate symbol of success and financial power. But as more development surfaced, some observers started wondering if that image was beginning to crack. So he raps, "You get punched in the face on some TLC," and TLC has 3 different meanings here, so pay attention. TLC, like the wrestling event where guys are obviously getting punched and they're fighting. You're going to need a chili ice pack for your left eye. So TLC this time is referring to the iconic R&B group. 2 members from this group whose names are Chili and Left Eye. And what's also crazy, the 3rd meaning of TLC, tender, love, and care. And the backstory behind all of this, Drake is rapping about an event that took place when Rick Ross got pressed after playing Not Like Us. And he just so happened to get punched on the left side of his face. He shouldn't have been there. That's it. The security tell me he shouldn't have been there. Yeah. Nothing about what was on that video said Rick Ross should have been here doing this right now. The public narrative slowly shifted from celebrating his wins to closely examining the challenges that seemed to be building behind the scenes, setting the stage for an entirely different chapter in his story. The final cracks in Rick Ross' image started showing through a series of moments that quickly went viral. One of the biggest came after he bought a reported $25 million Gulfstream G550 and proudly showed it off with custom Rick Ross branding. But in 2025, fans spotted him waiting for a flight at a commercial airport. To be clear, there is absolutely nothing wrong with flying commercial, no matter how wealthy someone is. The reason people reacted wasn't because of the flight itself. It was because many felt Ross looked like he was trying not to be recognized. He later explained Starlink. That's the $500,000 Wi-Fi. And I chose to fly commercial to Colombia to go party with Trick Daddy. But don't y'all ever look down on no young hustlers who if they walking, if they riding a bicycle, don't you ever look down on no young hustlers going to get some money. I flew that for 20 years before I went to spend a 40 ball. Might have to buy me a wing at the Atlanta airport. I'm going to do a damage. Do the star. Do the star, bro, do the starling. What's a do the starling? Them can't do FaceTime like us. Hey. Around the same time, reports claimed ticket sales for his Port of Miami 20th anniversary tour were slower than expected with promotional buy one get one offers appearing for some shows. Drake even noticed one of those reports and reacted to it online, adding another chapter to their ongoing rivalry. Then there's the legendary feud with 50 Cent, a beef that stretched across years with diss tracks, interviews, social media jokes, and non-stop public shots from both sides. Even today, fans still bring up Officer Ricky whenever that rivalry is mentioned. Together, these moments fueled the growing perception that Ross was spending more energy protecting his image than simply letting his accomplishments speak for themselves. At the end of the day, Rick Ross is still one of the most successful rappers of his generation with classic albums, huge business ventures, and a career most artists would envy. But his story also shows how powerful public image can become. When you build your brand around being larger than life, every small contradiction gets put under a microscope. Looking back, there are a few clear lessons. First, own your past instead of running from it because unanswered questions usually last longer than the truth. Second, be careful about the image you create because one day it can become something you're expected to live up to every single day. And finally, not every disagreement needs another response. Sometimes moving on says more than getting the last word ever could. Whether you agree with the criticism or think Ross is simply being judged too harshly, one thing is certain. His reputation has changed dramatically from where it once stood. And that's why so many people believe he's no longer viewed the same way he was at the height of his career. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with another hip-hop fan. And most importantly, drop a comment below and let me know your opinion. Has Rick Ross